Welcome back to my channel. My name is Michelle. Y'all, I'm so annoyed. This is my third time recording this video as I keep running into technical difficulties. But anywho, today I'm going to be talking about my first encounter with God. So let's get into it. So when I was about 8 weeks pregnant, I was diagnosed with placenta previa. Placenta previa is when the placenta covers the opening in the mother's cervix. So I was diagnosed with that at 8 weeks, and my doctor wasn't concerned. She just said that some people that are diagnosed with placenta previa, the placenta ends up moving out the way before giving birth. So it was nothing that I needed to be worried about. So that was that. I feel like for the most part of my pregnancy was pretty normal. I did feel uneasy about this pregnancy. I couldn't like put my finger on it, but I just felt uneasy about it. And I started having these bad dreams that something bad was going to happen and that my husband wasn't going to be at the birth. And the dreams freaked me out so much that when I would go in for my regular checkups, I would ask my OB, you know, like, is it normal for me to be having bad dreams? And she would say, yeah, that's normal. You know, a lot of pregnant women have vivid dreams because their hormones are raging and it's nothing to be concerned about. However, I still felt uneasy because I kept having these dreams, and I had it 3 times, the same exact dream. So fast forward to my 28-week appointment. I went in for my appointment. I had another ultrasound, and now my doctor is concerned because she's saying that my placenta has not moved, and you know, I should be giving birth in the next 10 weeks or so. It should have moved out the way by now, and it hasn't. So she put me on bed rest, sent me home on bed rest, and just basically told me to just do nothing because now my pregnancy is considered high risk. So about a week later, now I'm 29 weeks, I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and I felt myself leaking. My first thought was, there's no way my water could have broke because I'm on 29 weeks. When I looked down, it was blood, and I was hemorrhaging. So I went to the closest hospital that was near my home at the time. And this hospital just kind of just monitored me. They didn't really know what to do. Their goal was to get me out of that hospital for me to be transported to another hospital that specialized in premature babies 29 weeks and up, because the hospital that I was at, they only specialized for premature babies 32 weeks and up. So I just basically stayed there while they were waiting for me to, you know, get out of that hospital. Their goal was to get me out and get me to the hospital that could care for me in a better way. And I remember being at this first hospital, like, so cold and shaky. I don't know if it was because of the amount of blood that I was losing, but I was just so cold and I kept shaking. And I remember the nurse was cleaning like off my legs because it was blood all over my legs. And I remember my mom making this weird sound, and the nurse was trying to tell her to, like, you know, calm down, don't make a scene. I later on found out that it was like blood clots that were coming out of me. And that's why my mom was making these weird sounds. So yeah, I was transferred to the second hospital, which was where I was going to deliver anyway. And that's where my OB was scheduled to work. Thank God she was working that day. And when I got there, she just said that she just wanted to kind of wait things out. She's seen women that were diagnosed with placenta previa, and they only hemorrhage one time, and then they're able to carry closer to full term. So that was her goal, for me to just kind of wait out to see what happens. So that was scary for me. I just remember laying on that bed feeling like I can't move, because if I move, I'm going to hemorrhage again. That was like my biggest fear, laying there on that bed. We had been there for some hours, and my husband had decided to go home to go get our bags because he knew that we were going to be spending the night there due to everything that was happening. And he left. And, you know, there's a lot of things that transpired at the second hospital. I just rather not get into it just because it's too much. But long story short, I hemorrhaged. everything fell apart when my husband left. I hemorrhaged and they rushed me into having an emergency C-section. And I remember my doctor running with my bed down the hallway so fast that I could feel like the wind because she was running so fast. And when I got into the operating room, they kind of like threw me on this cold metal table. And I had one nurse in front of me, one behind me, one on the left side of me, one on the right side of me. And I was just freaking out. It was just pure chaos. I didn't know what was going on, what was happening, what was going to happen to me. And I just remember looking up to God, telling God, I am so scared right now. And one of the nurses said, Michelle, we're going to take good care of you. That was my encounter with God. That was God's way of letting me know that I was going to be okay. He was going to take care of me and there was nothing to worry about. And I just felt such a sense of peace during that storm. It's like when the scripture talks about, we'll experience that peace that surpasses all understanding. Yeah. Like now I know what that really feels like, because I felt like things were over for me in that moment. And it just gave me such a comfort and peace when I looked to God and told God I was scared. And then one of the nurses said, Michelle, I'm going to take good care of you. It happened literally right after I said that prayer. So after that, I just remember waking up. And when I woke up, my bed was like going down the hallway, and I seen my mom, and I think I seen my husband. I'm not quite sure, because when you're waking up from anesthesia, you don't really know what's going on around you. You can't really remember clearly. And they told me that they took my son downstairs to the NICU, and they took me downstairs to see him. I seen him, and I remember him being so small and having all these tubes connected to him. He was born 3 pounds and 5 ounces. And he had to stay in the NICU for 6 weeks to get care and to get the right nourishment. We both had to have multiple blood transfusions because we lost so much blood. And yeah, that was a lot. So back to my dream. My dream was that my husband was not going to be at the birth, and he wasn't there. Like, the dream that I had came to pass. I had that same exact dream 3 times. It came to pass, and looking back, because this was like almost 7 years ago, I feel like that dream was a warning for me. And yeah, so that's what happened. He stayed in the NICU for 6 weeks, and then I was able to take him home. And when I had to take him home, the NICU wanted to bring him home on a breathing and heart monitor, because his heart kept fluttering. They said that was normal because he was preemie, and as he gets older, he'll grow out of it. So they wanted to bring him home on a heart and breathing monitor, and that was so scary to bring him home with that, because it's like it would beep anytime it was trying to let you know that either he wasn't breathing or his heart was fluttering. And it was like I had to, like if the alarm goes off, it makes me feel like I have to go into performing CPR on him. And it did go off several times of having it. I think he had it for like about a month when he first got home. It did go off several times, but he was okay. Thank God that when we took it back to the, I can't remember, I think it was the allergist, I don't know, or asthma doctor. When we took it back, I can't remember. But when we took it back to the doctor, it was like a machine. So they unplugged the machine and they put it in some other machine to test it or something like that. And they said that all the times that it had went off, it was all false alarms. So thank God that worked out, and nothing crazy happened when I brought him home, because I was already full of so much anxiety going through that situation, and then having to bring him home with the breathing and heart monitor while I still had my other child that I had to take care of. Whew, that whole experience was so difficult for me. I remember crying multiple times throughout the day for months on end. Like I could just be sitting here fine talking to you, and then the next moment I'm just burst out in tears because I was just so traumatized and just trying to process what in the world happened to me. So, yeah, that's my first encounter with God and everything that I endured and everything I went through. And looking back on that situation, if someone were to ask me, or if someone were to tell me that I was going to experience something like that, I would have been like, oh, there's no way I can endure that or I can handle it. But I made it through. And that situation has made me a stronger person. That situation has increased my faith because I know what God can do. And I experienced it firsthand. And I'm just so grateful that me and my son went through a very difficult time, but we came out not looking like what we've been through. And I guess what I want to leave with is that God is always with you, no matter what you are going through, no matter what you're experiencing, and nothing is too hard for God. Nothing is too hard for Him. Doesn't matter what you're facing through right now, what you're going through, He's with us always, and nothing is too hard for Him. So I feel like that should leave you with peace. It definitely leaves me with peace, and definitely encourages me and helps me to have faith no matter what situation I am facing in life. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned because I'm going to insert some pictures of that day. Peace.